And you probably agree with me that the recent drama has not been as good as the old drama. The drama minds are
Okay, I'll say this. That's a weird reason to frame this whole thing. Like, I think it would be better, especially for Dylan, if like, I see no problem in someone like Dylan genuinely saying, hey, I want to start doing what I consider to be more either important or serious work. And because I want to start doing that, I'm going to be taking a step back from the Twitch drama scene and the Twitch political scene. That's a totally reasonable thing for someone to do. I'm sure some people would be hurt along the way, but like at the end of the day, that's one person kind of following their path, and there's nothing wrong about that. I don't think in pursuit of that you then have to add, well, it's also because like the drama is kind of drying up. Like that seems like a weird footnote to add to it in addition to. So, if you're new to Twitch, the scene today is very different than the scene was 2 years ago when I joined Twitch. I originally joined the platform because I was streaming on YouTube, and YouTube was starting to demonetize every video where I would talk about LGBTQ plus issues, and it was really fucking pissing me off. And I also wanted to see what the scene was like on Twitch. And on Twitch there was all these creators who I'd never interacted with because they weren't in the YouTube kind of, let's just say, drama ecosystem. And when I first joined Twitch, it was wonderful. Everyone from, I would say, the left all the way to anarchists and ancoms, they were all friendly with each other. Everyone was kind of interacting with each other. Everyone was on relatively good terms. And then inevitably, as human beings are known to do, schisms started, fights broke out, wars began, some people isolated themselves, some people don't interact with anyone else on the platform, some people just do their own thing, some people love doing panel shows, some people love doing debates, some people love doing, ASMR fart streams. It all depends on what form of entertainment you want to watch at any one time. But there has been some criticism of Twitch politics, especially in the, I guess, later stages of the Destiny era, related to, is Twitch politics a healthy space? Is it one in which it fosters open conversation? Is it a welcoming atmosphere for marginalized people? And the answer from most marginalized people is no. They don't usually seem to think that it is the most welcoming of spaces. Like most online spaces, it's usually dominated by white people, but that's not the only reason. A lot of the topics usually center around marginalized communities, such as discussing a lot of topics related to trans people, discussing the N-word is a frequent topic, all the way up to discussing consent, stealthing, all these kind of things. It would seem at a certain point Twitch politics and the topics therein were on the rather disturbing side, to say the least. The topics that were the discourse on a regular basis, I mean, sometimes would be typical ones you'd expect, like kink at pride, stuff like that, but sometimes it would go all the way into topics which most people would be like, I don't want to sit through a conversation to hear what 6 different people have to say on this one thing. That being said, though, I don't think it's all bad in any way, shape, or form. I think that there is productive moments, there's certainly entertaining moments, and there are beautiful moments that can occur in whatever you want to consider Twitch politics. One such one is happening right now, the charity stream that is being run by Keffels, which has already raised $30,000 to help protect trans youth. That is a very good thing. There's a lot of great fundraising that takes place, and we'll see what takes place here. Basically, the setup for this is that ChudLogic is quite upset at Dylan because Dylan has gone to Poland to record a documentary in which he is interviewing Ukrainian refugees, and he said in a stream a couple days ago that he's thinking of taking a step back from the Twitch political scene to concentrate on more serious issues, and maybe wants to concentrate more on his political career, shall we say.
how's it going? Hope you're all doing well. My hair is a mess. Everything's a mess. Twitch politics is a mess. And all of you are a mess. But that's okay. You're all inherently a mess, okay? You can't help it. It's in your genes.
It wasn't just Chud, it was multiple people the day before. Okay, interesting.
New compound. New compound. New compound for one day, okay? We're getting out of this place in one day. I'm gonna call Chud in literally like 1 minute, because ChudLogic apparently saw me just like considering like if Twitch politics was for me anymore, and the way it currently is, and he said I got too big for my britches and Twitch politics made me, and like etc etc. So I'm very excited to talk to him. Iggy, could you give me some Pepsi or something?
No.
Too bad. Do it. Thank you.
Wow.
Man of Twitch politics.
In Poland. So we finished filming mostly in Poland. Everything else is just kind of like short introductory videos and just stock footage we need to acquire. And so the next step is just going into Ukraine and filming there.
Nice. Cool. I mean, yeah, we can cut to the chase if you like. I heard that,
Sure.
that the Vince McMahon of Twitch politics has gone off drama. Say it isn't so.
Gone off drama. I just am like reconsidering if like the way I engage with Twitch politics is really what I'm interested in anymore. If it's in my interests.
Yeah, I mean that's fair enough. I feel like when I was listening to you talk about it, there was almost like a rewriting of history. You know, as if you're someone who just kind of dips their toe in drama when, you know, to me, you're someone who kind of willingly engages in it like fairly regularly, you know, having created a whole persona to do it, right?
A whole persona to do it.
Burns
I mean,
is in
yeah, that's the
immoral,
point of like the
morally
Vince
corrupt,
McMahon
bankrupt
shtick, right?
man.
Is this like a joke or like
No,
it's
not a joke.
like when you watch
mean?
like, you know, when you watch like Thor and like one actor punches another actor, you know they're not actually fighting, right?
Yeah, you said create a
Yep.
persona.
Okay. That's the show. The
Right,
rest,
but that's
it's a wrestling program.
But you understand that contributes to the drama quite significantly, right?
Well, I mean, if you're like mentally disabled to a certain extent, I would assume so. Yes.
Oof.
I know that's not that's ableist, but I mean, I'm sorry. Like, if you can't watch wrestling and like you don't have the social awareness to figure out the difference between like what's real and what's not real at this point, when I've stated multiple times exactly what the program is, then I feel like, I don't know. I feel like
Now this
you're
is
kind of
fucking
dense.
pathetic from you, mate. You're just
am?
coping. Like you've spent a lot of time
Here we go.
contributing. Well, no, this is true, and now you're trying to fucking pull it back. Like, you know, you're acting like you've got, you know, you're
Content
above
mine's
it all.
dry.
No, listen, mate. If you want to be fucking obnoxious, we can be obnoxious. Okay.
Well,
we
no,
can
you
go
said
there.
like Twitch politics made me and all this stuff. Like, come on, man. Like, this is ridiculous. You were
Well, it's
getting
true.
you were getting pissy
It's
about
true.
such small, like, hey guys, you know, I want to
It's
have a
true.
serious political career. I don't know if I really want to engage with Twitch politics in the way I've engaged up to this point. And then you respond to that like
bullshit. You
Twitch
weren't saying that
politics
at
made
all.
me. Yes, yes,
weren't saying
yes,
that
I
at
was. I
all.
was talking.
Well, you fucking
Yes,
were.
I
You were
was.
talking about how it's so beneath you
100%.
now, and you're
It's all beneath me.
Oh,
Oh yes, Chud. Oh yes. Come on,
you're acting
Chud.
like you're above it all. You know? You're acting like you're above it all, and acting how people like Destiny were dragging you down when he's contributed massively to like what you do on this platform.
Oh my god, okay, number one, I specifically said that Destiny has helped me a lot, right? But when I tie myself to certain people with certain reputations, that could hurt me in other circles, right? Let me just be honest. If I walk into a Democratic Party office and somebody calls up saying, hey, that guy is friends with the Kyle Rittenhouse. Oh, let me send you this Kyle Rittenhouse statement. Or let me send you this clip of this person saying the N-word. Oh, you see this guy over here? Let me send you a statement about nuking and wiping Israel off the face of the earth. This is just me like acknowledging reality. I can do my best and I will do my best to explain that I talk to people of multiple different political stripes. But it is true, and Destiny has acknowledged this in the past, that people can be hurt by just associating with him. But I acknowledge that can happen to me, but I still acknowledge the good things that he's done for me. I didn't like reject that he's ever done anything nice for me or he hasn't helped me in any way.
No, but my point is the tone of what you were saying, what you were talking about was very much like this drama's kind of been. Well, yeah, that's exactly what it was. You came across as very smug and egotistical, if we want to be fucking blunt about it.
Well,
I mean, I was happy to have a conversation, but you're coming in super fucking hot. Like, what
well,
the
I'm coming in
fuck's that
hot
about?
because you're like, oh, Twitch politics made you, and of course, I don't care
It's
if
true, though. That's
the thing
a
is,
fact.
I don't
This got spicy so fast. I'm only like 2 minutes into it.
care though, right? Like that doesn't matter to me. You can be made somewhere, right, quote unquote, on the internet, and then you can leave. That's perfectly fine.
Yeah, we'll just fuck off and leave then.
Okay. Thank you. I've gotten your input then.
Cheeto, I'm somewhat sympathetic. I'm closing before I debate command myself. No, we're watching a debate. It's perfectly fine for everyone in chat right now to be debating about the debate. That's appropriate, right? It would be like when people say, hey, chat, can you stick on the topic at hand? It's because someone is usually being like, hey, can you all pay attention to something I want to talk about right now? And anyone who doesn't, you are basically not acknowledging my truth. And so when that's the case, then it's like, well, please go take it into the debate channel, because other people are trying to discuss what we're actually discussing. In this case, this is the topic at hand. Go nuts. You have free for all in the chat to express your opinions, whether you are agreeing with Chud on this or you're agreeing on Dylan on this. This is now the free marketplace of ideas. Let the highest ideas rise to the top.
Well, yeah, but why are you making such a big deal out of it and acting like you're above it all now? There's no.
I'm not acting like I'm above it all, because I was publicly like just talking about like my concerns with staying in the space, and like how, like, you know, this is like the type of work that I'm probably more interested in now. And am I not allowed to talk about what I'm interested in or not interested in on my stream? I'm not saying that I'm above drama. I specifically said multiple times in that stream that I like talking to schizophrenics like Charmhole, right? I said that multiple times during the stream.
Okay. Well, you're complaining about your image when you got all the clout and money from having people like Vosh and Destiny on.
Okay. Yes,
Well,
you can make money, and it can still hurt your image. That happens all the time.
Well, yeah, but it seems like you want to have a cake and eat it too. So
yes, I would love that. I would like to have money and also have a good image. Yes.
Okay, but like you want to reap the rewards of engaging in the space in a certain way, and then, you know, when push comes to shove, you kind of just reject it all as, you know, acting like you're fucking above it all. And I just think it's kind of cringe, and you're not recognizing the kind of roots of what you are and where you've come from, I think.
Okay, well, I don't care if that's where I came from. What I care about is what I do going forward, right? If I've engaged in drama and that's the thing though, I specifically interacted with Polish politicians and hearing like, oh yeah, we've done research into you and stuff and this, and I'm thinking to myself like, fuck, did they sit down and listen to me go back and forth with Charmhole about black people rape, like black people raping people? Is that the type of stuff I really want? Like, serious politicians to look up my name, and that's like the type of videos that like pop up.
Okay, so the first thing I would say is that if you want to have a future career in politics, as in become a long-term politician and or work in the political landscape in any way, shape, or form, I would not start as a Twitch streamer or be a YouTuber or be any of those things. Those fields are mired with drama, mired with the silly, mired with battles, mired with all kinds of fucked up shit. Like, if I genuinely went forward now and was like, you know what, I'm going to stop being a Twitch streamer. I now would like to get into local Canadian politics. Maybe I'll run for the mayor of Vancouver or something like that. Yeah, it would take a very quick Google search to be like, okay, how about this, Lance? Yeah, it seems you have a three-part series about fucking watermelons and how fleshlights should be just offered as part of a taxpayer resource expense, something about that. Can you comment on that? No.
Up in their feed, I don't know. Like, how do I like dictate? Do I have like a separate channel for like serious news and another one for more entertainment and drama content? I was talking about this during the stream. Like, I was just openly considering exactly what my future in the space should be. Definitely, since unlike a lot of people in the space, I want to have a serious political career.
Sure, but like, you know, I know you say you don't care about it, right? But like, if that's your position, you want to have your cake and eat it too. You know, you want to have all the clout, attention, and money.
Yes, I would.
Right. Okay.
I would like money, and I would also like a good reputation. Yes. That's not
sure.
That's like, and I would like to attain that. That's not a wild thing for somebody to want. Like, to have a decent reputation so they can engage seriously with politics, but also see how much fun they can have in the online space. Right?
Okay, so I don't know the full story here, which is probably the worst place to come from when you're trying to discuss these issues, but it would seem that Dylan, in this project that he's working on right now in Poland, has kind of had maybe some sobering moments, especially when dealing with, you know, politicians and other people that he's interviewing, in that the reputation that precedes him, aka if you went to the Dylan Burns YouTube channel or the Dylan Burns Twitter page, would definitely not be something that upon first glance, if someone wasn't really deeply tapped into the internet, would probably understand understand and take in a charitable light, right? Like if you just scroll through Dylan's video timeline right now, I'm going to guess it's going to be a whole bunch of like, you know, I debated so-and-so on this, this is blah, blah, blah. I'm on a panel where the N-word question is brought up. I'm on another panel where this is brought up, all that kind of stuff. And so now he's kind of had this, I guess, sobering reflection where he wants to pivot into maybe more serious content and or coverage. That's kind of what I'm reading so far.
Right. And it was me dictating like, how do I do this? How can I do this like I can seriously engage in politics while also like having fun on the internet and engaging with the space? And I also talked about how like a lot of the content in the space isn't content I really want to engage with anymore. Like it's just not fulfilling, which is a completely separate issue. And I don't think anybody will object to if I say, I don't really like this anymore.
But is Dylan some sort of serial cringe lord? Debated the platform objective burst like has. Dylan is a ex-member of, he was a Gravel teen, the Gravel Institute, part of that movement to get Mike Gravel elected during the last Bernie Sanders run, which was intentionally moved to try and pull, I guess, all the other politicians to the left. And then he's kind of been a rising star in the Twitch political scene since then. My criticisms of Dylan are usually along the lines of he runs a very popular Friday night show. I've been on it a handful of times called the Hippy Dippy Podcast, and the whole idea is that it's like wrestling. He's a huge fan of wrestling. He loves wrestling and WWF, and he's kind of assumed the Vince McMahon persona. And that would be fine in and of itself if every single person involved in the Hippy Dippy Podcast on a regular basis, we're all also self-aware of that. But as I'm sure anyone here who knows the history of Twitch and Twitch lore probably knows that there's a lot of people who have been really hurt along the way, including Vadim and Demon Mama, specifically because they at one point or another took the whole thing too seriously. And the response to them taking it seriously was typically a very strong backlash, as in this whole thing was, it's wrestling, it's made up, why are you like making a big deal out of this? And that like it's kind of like it's only fair to do that if everyone on board agrees to it. They have to kind of consent to that activity. If they're all on board, they all get in there. It's a royal rumble. People are throwing insults at each other, but they're all having a fun time. Then yeah, of course, I have nothing wrong with that. If people enter that stage or arena and then all of a sudden it's like, did you not know that this whole thing is just supposed to be sensationalist, all that? Well, then it can be exploitative, right? Because people might come in there being like, well, I'm trying to discuss something that's very important to me or passionate to me or something like that, and people are either mocking it or saying that I'm taking this too seriously, but this issue is actually very, very crucial to my existence, so I don't know why I'm being put in this position. That's been one of my biggest criticisms of the way that whole thing is raised. In terms of the Destiny thing, like I think every single creator who's interacted, and I'm included in this list, interacted with Destiny on a regular basis, has been criticized by other people as to why you interact with that person at all. In my case, like I was putting forward that I was never like, I was never doing like two tag team debates with Destiny. I was usually on the other side of an issue with him, debating him about something, and or organizing the Richard Wolf debate, which of course, if you were asking me, because a lot of people like Mike from PA asked, why would you ever do something like that? It was because I knew the whole thing was going to be a massive thing on the internet, and that it was going to allow Richard Wolf a huge platform and, to tens of thousands of people. I think it was like 40,000 at its height, to be able to talk about a lot of issues that are important to me, such as democracy in the workplace, worker cooperatives, socialism, stuff like that. That would be the reason why. But then you will always get the criticism from the other side. Well, I see that person as a fascist. How would you ever give them the time of day? Why would you ever participate in anything like that? They are, damaging to X marginalized community. And by the very virtue of you even discussing with them, you are, in fact, giving them a platform. That's kind of been the thing, right? And that's a criticism that's been levied at Dylan. The criticism with that is always like, when did you decide to draw the line? That's usually where people kind of place themselves. Like, for example, when me and Mike from PA were arguing about it, he would be like, I can't believe that you continued to platform Destiny with that whole Richard Wolf thing and everything. And, I would respond with, well, you used to as well. I mean, I think you've been on his show 3 times. He's actually one of the people that you could argue helped launch your career, because it's those first 2 debates with Destiny that you had that gave you an initial viewership of a whole bunch of people. So, I mean, it's basically, at what point did you say enough was enough? With Dylan, I don't think he's ever cut ties with him, despite the rap sheet, despite the long list of things. Like if you work your way down, where it's just kind of like, it's I don't know. That would be the other criticism, I guess. It would be those 2 things.
The problem is though, you're kind of the way you're talking about it, like you're some generous benefactor for doing, you know, Hippy Dippy, which is a great show. Don't get me wrong.
No,
But
I don't
like,
think I'm a generous benefactor. I made money, right? I got sponsorships and like
you
all
didn't
that.
say that at the time earlier though. You were talking about
Okay,
how
I don't care. I don't care if I
it.
said that at the time or not. I'm saying it now. Okay.
Right,
Because
okay.
nobody
Now you're
asked
getting
me.
challenged on it. You are. Okay,
No, because
sure.
nobody asked me. Okay, nobody said, Dylan, do you think you're a hero? Okay, I would be like, no, I don't think I'm a hero. But it is true that the Hippy Dippy Roundtable did help people grow in the space. No one can object to that. It's the largest roundtable in the space. A lot of people have grown from that. Heme has, Rhizome has, a lot of people have. We have a recruitment show for that purpose, right? Now, taking that into consideration, I think I've helped the space to some extent, right? And so
Yes,
if
I agree
somebody,
with that.
okay, wonderful. And so if we both acknowledge that, I just don't want anybody to think like Dylan took everything from the space and he fucking then just dipped. He fucking fucked everyone over. He doesn't care about the space anymore. Like he never cared about the space or anything like that, right? Which it kind of it feels like that's what you're kind of like pushing at right now.
Well, no, it's not that I think that. I just, you know, if you can express whatever you want, obviously, like I just disagree with your framing of the way you've put it. And it just, I don't know, it just kind of feels like you're kind of going, oh, well, you know, that's got me to where I am now, but now I want to focus on other things and fuck that. Where you could have just said, I want to focus on other things, so I'm going to do that. Like you could have done it without the shitting on the Twitch poll side of things, I guess.
Well,
I don't
why?
know.
How could I say, "Hey guys, I want to leave," without saying why I want to leave? Right? Which is, I think that certain parts of Twitch politics could hurt my reputation, and that I am also not as fulfilled from this work anymore. And I also don't think the content is as good as it used to be, at least in my eyes, when it comes to like the type of, for example, drama can be fun, but I also feel like the recent drama have been they've been boring, to be completely like blunt with me. Yeah. And I think you should, and you probably agree with me that the recent drama has not been as good as the old drama. The drama minds are
Okay, I'll say this. That's a weird reason to frame this whole thing. Like, I think it would be better, especially for Dylan, I see no problem in someone like Dylan genuinely saying, hey, I want to start doing what I consider to be more either important or serious work. And because I want to start doing that, I'm going to be taking a step back from the Twitch drama scene and the Twitch political scene. That's a totally reasonable thing for someone to do. I'm sure some people would be hurt along the way, but like at the end of the day, that's one person kind of following their path. And there's nothing wrong about that. I don't think in pursuit of that, you then have to add, well, it's also because like the drama is kind of drying up. Like that seems like a weird footnote to add to it in addition to
are like empty. They're like the gold mines of California. They've been mined to completion, you know? And so I think me publicly acknowledging these things and having an open conversation about it is perfectly fine. I talk about things on my stream all the time. I don't need to be like, hey everyone, I want to make sure everyone knows that my time at Twitch politics was lovely. I love you all. You're all wonderful members. No, I'm going to be honest about like why I wanted to leave, or I've considered leaving. I'm not even announced that I've left or I'm going to leave Twitch politics. It's just me openly like talking about like, hey, I've been making while I'm over here like doing all this filming, I've been thinking about my online presence, and I just openly thought about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree that over the past couple of weeks, the drama's been a bit stale, a bit slow, whatever. But that's like the last couple of weeks. There's always times when there's like dips in the drama and it gets a bit boring, gets a bit stale. You know, obviously the Ukraine situation has been massive, like for a lot of people. And that's kind of obviously died off somewhat more recently, I think. It's kind of gone out of the news cycle. But I'm sure there's going to be stuff that comes out. We've got the midterms coming up. I'm sure people are going to be talking about that. There's going to be
that's not drama though. That's elections. You know what I mean?
And also war. I don't know. There's this weird intersection between what Twitch in essence is, because you've just got streamers with egos and all the intersections that are going to happen between those things and what they want to do covering news. It's that bizarre kind of where the very act of creating drama itself through feuding or fighting creates and generates more revenue for the streamers involved, and then perpetuates more drama, which then perpetuates, you know, more views and more clicks and more subs and more everything. It's a truly bizarre thing because it's interactive, you know. I mean, the same thing is done in other mediums, obviously. TikTokers will have feuds with each other. YouTubers will make response videos or rap battles, cringe, you know, one after another. And in Twitch, it's like, hey, like, add me to your Discord right now. We're talking.
But this is the other thing that you do that's quite clever as well, right?
Clever.
You separate it out. So what you do is you act like Ukraine.
Joe Rogan does it.
coverage
Jimmy
isn't
Dore does it.
Twitch politics. You basically make it.
Let's be totally real. Everyone does it. Doesn't matter what tier they're at. Okay, TYT is feuding with Jimmy Dore, is feuding with Kyle Kalinske, is feuding with Crystal Ball, is feuding with like, and so on and so on. You know, this is not exclusive to Twitch or the way that Twitch operates in any way.
So everything that is good, the way you were speaking about it on stream, you know, you were indicating that like for some reason the Ukraine coverage is separate from Twitch politics.
I think it's okay. Let me ask you a question. Do you think Hassan is involved in Twitch politics?
Yeah, I mean, sure, he's like the biggest creator within Twitch politics. Sure.
So when I say Twitch politics, I think ChudLogic, Stardust, IRI. I think people who engage with other Twitch politics creators in the space that we know, right? You can call it the debatosphere or whatever, right? But that's when I said Twitch politics, that's what I was considering. Because Hassan doesn't really engage with the rest of us, right? You agree? I know this is one of the bigger criticisms you have of Hassan, is that he doesn't engage with the rest of us, right? The same for a few other people, like Mike from PA, who doesn't engage with the rest of us. So when I said Twitch politics, what?
I was going to say, to me.
So I guess we're just broadly speaking, the terms themselves haven't been clearly defined. So it's more, Dylan sees it as like an insular community of people who interact with each other. And then Chud is stating that it's broadly speaking, just its own genre on the platform. And it's true that there's multiple people who operate differently, right? Hassan doesn't interact with streamers who aren't super famous, who aren't XQCs, etc., who aren't like mega stars. Mike from PA is pretty much his own show. And then there's a whole bunch of people who do a variety of things. Some of them will do panels, some of them will do other stuff. You know, there are the debate lords. There are people who just want to talk about a single issue. There's people who just like doing React Andy content. There's people who just watch Gordo. I don't know if they can still be considered politics at that point.
Twitch politics just means you're on stream streaming about politics. I don't know if there's like.
Okay, well then we were just working with two different definitions then.
Well, what definition have you got?
The definition I was using is the people in the Twitch politics sphere that we interact with, right?
Right. I don't know. I just don't see the difference. I mean, there's cliques and stuff.
It doesn't matter. We were just using two different definitions. Okay. So then we'll just use the word debatosphere then. Okay. Because I guess that's more accurate. What term do you want to use? You know what I'm referring to, right?
I just think it just feels like you're trying to separate out the different things. So you can basically say, well, this stuff here, that's not Twitch politics. But that to me is integral to Twitch politics. Like your coverage of Ukraine, which, you know, again, I thought was really good and it was obviously great for your channel. That's integral to this space, right? Like it's part and parcel.
Okay, this space, then you consider Hassan part of the space then?
Yeah, sure.
So
I mean,
could I separate, then I could separate myself from you, everybody in the space, and just cover stuff in my own corner, like say Mike from PA.
Yeah, what I think might be helpful is maybe adding drama to it. Maybe like there's the drama side of Twitch politics, and there's people who cover politics on Twitch. That could be two separate things.
And I'm still involved in Twitch politics.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see.
Well, then
why.
That's not what I was really discussing. Okay, I was more discussing being involved with a lot of different content creators and debate and like drama stuff and like kind of blood sporty stuff that I've been involved with in the past. I still like the blood sports, and I don't think I'm ever going to stop the blood sports. But like a lot of the,
I mean, if you're going to say that blood sports is separate from, you know, cold, sober Ukraine coverage, those are obviously two different things, but they're all part of the wider Twitch politics kind of community, I would say. Like the same people, I'd say there's people that would watch the blood sports and would come and watch your Ukraine coverage.
Well, yeah, I assume so. I guess for me, there's just certain things that I don't want to necessarily associate with moving forward. Like,
yeah, and you've called it Twitch poll and are putting it into this camp over here. Like,
I've called it all Twitch. Well, okay, then what word should we use then? What word should we just use with? Just drama? Like, what do you mean? What should we use?
I don't think your issue is with the broader community. I think your issue is certain types of content that are being discussed and covered, and content which you willingly engage in when it benefits you. But now seemingly it's, oh God, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yes, I did it when it benefits me, and it no longer benefits me, so I don't care. Yes, that is like businessman. Yes, this would anybody would do this in my position. If there's something that used to benefit me but no longer benefits me and is now upon reflection no longer helping me, and I don't want to engage with it anymore, anybody would do this, right?
I don't disagree in principle with what Dylan's saying. I mean, everyone has the right to do that. Ultimately, it's your show, and you can direct it how you want. I guess I don't know if Chud is coming at it from a place of this, but maybe the concern would be, did you exploit anyone along the way then? Because if it's like, okay, I've grown to a certain size, I've built my audience, I've done this. Some people got hurt along the way, but at this point, I don't care. I'm going to pivot. Dylan's not saying that, by the way. I'm not trying to straw man him, but I'm just saying that would be a point to come in there.
Example, Chud, if you're covering something and it's giving you 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 live viewers, you're going to keep covering it. But eventually, people no longer give a fuck, and then you're at 800, 600, 500, 400, and you're like, okay, I don't want to cover this anymore. That's not because you're like an immoral piece of shit who doesn't know that like that's where your bread was buttered and that was where you were made. That's just you looking out for yourself like a normal person.
Yeah. And I just fucking go and do whatever I wanted to do and not make this big deal out of.
I don't care. I can talk about whatever I want on my stream, and you don't need to content police me. If I want to say, hey, this type of stuff I used to engage with, I don't think it's good for me anymore, then I'm gonna continue to talk about it. I can do that. It's my stream.
And I'll say you've done it in a shitty way, I guess. I don't know.
Okay, and I'll say that you're whining, and you just get over it.
Okay. I mean, there's me whining, and then there's you just like twisting history, like you saying you dipped your toe into the Anna Voir drama. You said you dipped your toe into the Anna Voir drama when you had it on your just fucking stream. Like, what was that about?
Yeah. What would you call that? I'm sorry. What dip my arm in, dip my leg in? I engaged with it for like a week or two, right? And that was something that went on for what? Wait, that thing went on for 2 to 3 years, Chud. It's still going on. When's the last time I talked about it? When's the last time I've touched it? I touched it for a bit, and then I didn't touch it any further because I didn't want to, like...
To be fair, that is kind of Chud's entire shtick, right? That is kind of Chud's content.
Tie that shit permanently to my channel, like throughout the ages, right? It was just like, okay, quickly, and then in and out. Let's get the views, and then let's dip. Yeah.
In and out. Then Anna was on your stream. Oh my God, what the fuck?
Yes, that was it. That was the in and out.
Yeah, okay. I don't know. I personally wouldn't characterize that as in and out.
Well, that's
to have the person involved on your stream.
That literally is in and out. I go talk to the person, then I leave. For example, if I went in and out of a debate, I debate, then I leave. In and out. I mean, come on, Chud.
I just think that having Anna on your stream and milking that for that particular stream for the drama just doesn't seem like dipping your toe in or being in and out. It seems like you made a
come on. This is like, okay, the one what would you want? Dipping my foot in, dipping my leg in, dipping my arm in.
Yourself, aren't you?
Yeah, I did, and I didn't pretend that I didn't involve myself. I said I involved myself, but there's a
K-pop girl, thank you. Punch Drunk Pulpit. What's annoying about Chud's apparent position here is he's not saying Dylan's content was bad or destructive up until now, so he didn't have a problem with it before, but it's now upset that Dylan wants to do something different. Like, does Chud just want Dylan to stay because he thinks Dylan's success will trickle down? I haven't fully grasped where Chud's coming from yet, so I'm going to, in the best of faith, wait to see a little bit more about how he's characterizing this.
Difference between involving myself by having a conversation with Anna, right? And I'm going to make this my content for months, which people did, right? There's a difference there.
Sorry, Rysum says Danabo DM'd him saying we need a mod, apparently.
Okay. it wasn't that spicy.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I think you need a mod to interject when the two people are just yelling and there's nothing productive happening. But if they're going back and forth, it still seems, it still seems cordial.
I don't know. I just feel like your characterization downplayed the role that you played when you covered that drop.
It sounds like Chud feels defensive about Dylan's implicit criticism of what he's doing. Yeah, there could be that. I mean, it's certainly not explicit. criticism, but there's just that guilty by association thing. If I want, like, I mean, maybe it goes down to that thing. I always bring up the example, you know, when you're at a party and someone asks you, hey, you want a beer? And you're like, oh, I don't drink. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, what are you implying about me? That it's bad that I drink? Or like, hey, I don't eat meat. And so it's like, oh, what, am I a bad person because I eat meat? That kind of thing. But again, I'm not deep enough into this to assess that.
I didn't intend to downplay the role, right? But I don't think I was as actively engaged in that as much as other people were, and I think me having a conversation, right, is not the same as like months of coverage, right, in and out. I think was a perfectly fine characterization.
So this is about the Anna stuff.
This is such dry content, yeah.
Okay, wait, isn't that part of your issue with Dylan Chud? Is that kind of statement right there?
What do you mean? Sorry.
Dylan's like kind of Dylan's kind of like passing like this is such dry content.
This is, I mean, there's really nothing here. This like I don't think anything I did was really that objectionable. I feel like this is.
Happened, mate?
I would say this is. I think this is a Wick TM moment. Okay, that's what I would call this.
No, oh, fuck off, Dylan. Get the fuck out of here with that shit, okay? I defended you to the fucking, you know, when people were criticizing you for that.
I helped you, Dylan. Stay loyal. Loyalty, Dylan. Respect.
No, you fucking dickhead. All I'm saying to you is that's a ridiculous accusation to levy at me. I've given what are perfectly like, you know, reasonable, measured critiques of some things that you said on stream, and you're coming in super hot at me. Like, what the fuck is that
Yeah, to be fair, I will say so far, Dylan has been the hotter of the two.
about?
Yeah, I think what Chud is saying is Wick came at you with some dumbass, unreasonable shit, and Chud's done his best to be reasonable, so he feels like the comparison is unfair.
So, okay, then let's go through these reasonable takes. This Twitch politics made me thing then, right? Chud, why should I care if Twitch politics made me if now I want to move away from what we can, when I say Twitch politics, I mean like this sphere we're in, right? Okay, I guess the beta sphere. Why should I care if that made me if I want to move on? Tons of people do that with their careers. MMA fighters move on to wrestling, boxers move on to MMA. Even if those things, quote unquote, made them, they move on and they're perfectly allowed to, and that's fine.
Yeah, fuck off then. Don't make a big deal out of being like, oh, Twitch politics is dead. It's all drama bullshit now. Just fuck off and do it then.
Okay, so that's the commentary. I shouldn't talk about it. I should just leave. I can't be like, hey guys, I'm considering a certain thing. Like, yeah. I shouldn't do that then. Okay, so your criticism is don't talk about it on your channel, just leave.
Yeah, sure. Fuck off.
Okay, wonderful. This is so unbelievably hollow. Everybody talks about stuff like this on their channel all the time. Everybody talks about like, hey, here's the future of my content. Mate, I'm considering certain things.
If you think it makes you look good to demonstrate that you've gone to Poland and your ego's turned into the size of a fucking balloon, more power to you. Everyone else thinks it makes you like a fucking dickhead. It is what it is.
Chud, maybe you should explain a bit of why you think it seems like Dylan's ego is blown up like a balloon for him and for chat.
Because he's gone to Poland, which again, I defended him for, okay? And I said it's good that he's going. But it feels like we've created a monster now, and he's fucking going about how Twitch poll sucks, and he doesn't want to do it anymore, and there's dramas beneath him when he's readily engaged in it. He's complaining about the impact it's going to have on his.
Who cares if I readily engaged in it in the past, though? If I've engaged in something and then I'm like, I don't know if I want to engage with this anymore, I can move on if I want to. And I can talk about moving on if I want to. That's perfectly fine. And it's not that, hey, I'm better than everybody else because I engaged in politics. I specifically said, if you engage in like entertainment-based, drama-based stuff on the internet, it's perfectly fine. I just don't know if that's the type of stuff I want to engage with because that's not the type of stuff I got involved in politics in the first place to do.
To be fair, Dylan, I mean, you were saying it in a more disparaging manner, and I think that's what you're speaking to, Chud, right?
Well, yes, because I don't like it. And if I don't like it, then that's like, then I don't want to engage with it, right? Like if I'm like, I don't like this, I don't think this is good for me. I think the content in the space is dry at the moment. I don't think it's something that like I really want to engage with at the moment. Yeah, I'm going to give like a disparaging review if I want to leave, right? If I don't want to watch a movie, there's probably a disparaging reason why I don't want to watch the movie. Yes.
So, and then Chud, you feel like in Dylan coming to this conclusion or this evaluation that he has of Twitch poll, that he's sort of burning it down in the process of leaving.
Well, it's not the case of like burning it down. Like things are just going to continue as they are.
I'm not a god.
Whatever. I just think that it's a pretty obnoxious move of him, and the fact he's like naming streamers that I think have been very beneficial to him. and you know, complaining about the image. Just like, why wasn't he complaining about the image when he was fucking reaping all the clout and all the benefits of having them on? You know.
Wait, okay, so your criticism is that I acknowledged the fact that we all acknowledge that associating with Destiny.
I'm glad they finally got a mediator. Really? I mean, don't get me wrong. It sounds so far like Rhizone is doing an incredible job of doing that kind of like, you know, the perfect mediator. I'm going to be level-headed, kind of, you know, a perfect centrist in this, and calm and collectively try to extract more information rather than just let people hurl insults. That's certainly what's happening here. It just I didn't feel that they had gotten to that point where they were just like screaming at each other, where it's just like, okay, someone has to step in. This is just nonsense.
Associating with Vosh, associating with these people, can have an image impact on you, and it will impact how people view you. Me reviewing that, me acknowledging that, something Destiny himself has acknowledged on multiple occasions, that he himself has says he wouldn't blame somebody for disassociating with them due to his image, right? Me acknowledging that publicly, while also publicly acknowledging the benefits he has given me. There's something wrong with that. What's wrong with that?
Well, the problem I've got is it just feels like you're kind of turning around and taking a big shit on the space, which is, you know, kind of put you in the position that you are to even be in Poland in the first place. You've been there for 5 minutes and you're acting like you're fucking the big I am.
Okay, can we go? Okay, back to the Destiny thing. So what is wrong with me publicly acknowledging the fact that associating with Destiny can come with an image problem, something he has publicly acknowledged multiple times in the past as well?
I mean, if you want to kind of acknowledge that and talk about that, like, that's up to you. But I just think it comes across as extremely kind of backstabby.
So it's backstabby for me to say Destiny has done a lot of good things for me, but associating with him has come with problems, and I don't know if I want to have those problems when it comes to that. Like, me just acknowledging, just saying that publicly. What would be better? Would it be better for me to be?
Why weren't you doing that months ago? Why weren't you doing that months ago?
Well, let me finish.
Yeah, I was about to bring that up too. That would have been my critique there, would be like, well, then this is indicative that something changed because you were fine with everything up until this point, kind of thing, right?
I'm on your show.
But again, that's the same critique that any single person, including myself, who's ever interacted at any point with Destiny gets.
Let me finish.
Like, why is this only an issue now?
Why is it only because I'm reflecting now, Chud. I'm reflecting now because I've engaged in
the ego thing.
I'm not allowed to reflect. I'm not allowed to be like, hey, I'm doing some different content. This is very fulfilling to me. I think maybe this is the type of content I'm going to do more of. That's like,
yeah, I guess, Chud, this is why I asked, fair. Can you explain
totally
how
fair.
you see the ego manifesting? Because couldn't it just be Dylan coming to terms with this, having critical distance on it? Like, what indicates the ego to you specifically?
The way that Dylan was talking about this, when I watched the stream, it just came across to me as having gone to Poland and doing this again, something I think is really good, and I've defended you.
Stygian and Rillo Dragon, if you go near Warzone, see if you say the same. I could not agree more, especially if you travel to anywhere that's either experiencing war or extreme poverty or something like that, right? There's certainly something that is just going to potentially change in you, and then you want to move towards something else. I would say if that's the case, then it's 100% valid to go about it in that direction. I would state then when you're, I guess, saying that I'm going to change the direction of my channel and what I talk about, that doesn't have to go alongside of because, you know, things like the drama has dried up and you know, Twitch politics is dead or stale, right? Like, you wouldn't have to add that part. You could just be like, it's really important for me and me going forward, not simply because I want to have a political career, but because this is, you know, something I find more fulfilling, and because of that, I'm now going to change the direction. That, you know, that would be
on multiple times to people, and you've sort of seen it, got a taste of what it's like to do this sort of thing, and you're talking about meeting these Polish politicians and stuff like that, and it sounds really cool, but I just can't help but feel that, you know, you're kind of losing sight of the roots that you've got, and are kind of just shitting on all the stuff that's got you to where you are in the first place.
8 months ago, I made a video with Destiny talking about if I should cut ties with him because of his image problem, and he publicly acknowledged that he would not. Yes.
Did you cut ties with him?
No, I didn't. I discussed about it, and I'm still.
Yeah. Because you could still benefit from it back then,
yes,
right?
No, of course, I could still benefit.
Now Destiny's gone from Twitch. All of a sudden, it's for you know, that's it. You all know.
Because okay, so this is an assumption of intent. Then this is an assumption that this isn't Dylan reflecting on what he wants to do with his career This is when it comes to like his image or like being involved in politics, this is Dylan making the calculated move that since Destiny's gone from Twitch, he's gonna cut ties with Destiny now, right? Because I publicly discussed that there's an image problem with relating with Destiny, which I've done so again in the past, and I haven't even committed myself to cutting ties with Destiny, which I still don't plan to do. It was something I just openly discussed.
Well, I just think it's interesting timing.
I did it 8 months ago too. I did it 8 months ago too. This is the second time I've done it. So why didn't you bring this up 8 months ago? Oh, now that it's it's different.
Cut ties with him,
and I didn't cut ties with him now either. I just talked about it. That's all I did. Do you think I blocked Destiny? Do you think I've cut all time? You know I'm supposed to organize a debate with him on May 3rd, right? May 3rd, I'm supposed to host a debate with Destiny. That doesn't sound like cutting ties.
Well, I mean, if that happens, then fair enough.
So is the timing just too suspicious then, Chud? And you can't see.
I don't know how this happens every time, but I like, it's delightful chats. Both chats, y'all are like, it seems like almost 50% polarized on this issue, and like with the takes, and everyone is having very reasonable takes. I'll say that, right? There's no like wild insults being hurled, but like you can see how it's like 50-50 on where everyone stands on this.
Any other reason? Like you can't see that would have any other motivation behind it.
I mean, listen, if Dylan is saying it's different, I mean, fair enough, I guess. But I just think the timing's very convenient, and yeah.
But I'm still hosting debates, and this isn't the first time I've talked about this. I've talked with it publicly to Destiny's face. I mean, very backstabby behavior when you tell somebody something to their face 8 months ago, and you're still hosting debates with them, and you're not even cutting ties with them. You're just talking about an image problem, which we all acknowledge, and he's acknowledged. Backstabby.
Clean up your room.
Raven, thank you. Is this the guy who tried to cancel Hassan for liking a tweet? I don't know. They are both problematic to the same degree, in my opinion. It makes sense that there's a split. I don't see them as that dissimilar. I think, like, honestly, if you were to summarize this whole thing, you condense the whole thing down, and you're just like, well, what is your unsolicited advice, Lance? Because, again, this advice is 100% unsolicited. It would be if you honestly had gotten to this point where you're like, I want to pivot, and this is the new direction I want to go into. You can do that without also slagging off the very scene that you were a part of and a very large part of for such a long time. You could be like, I'm just moving into this now, this is where I'm going, and you know, this is going to be my new direction, that's it. It doesn't have to be added with like, it's cringy to be like, and also Twitch politics sucks now, and also you know, the drama is stale and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean,
you know, it's one of those things, like, if I could just squish this entire like 30 or 40 minutes into like a one paragraph
listen,
answer.
if I'm wrong on that, I guess the proof will be in the pudding, won't it?
And to people asking, no, it's not the last segment. I'm doing a couple others after this.
Proof will be in the pudding.
I think what Chud is saying, Dylan, is that you saw your ship rise too on the back of Hippy Dippy, and it seems like now you're saying there is no more rising possible now that you're the biggest one in the space.
Okay.
Do you not feel like you owe anything to the community at all to, like, you know, paving the way, to take a look back and help out, you know, continue to help the people that...
I just checked. Dylan Burns was the one who said
there.
Hassan favorite entry from Ben Moore with the cigarette emoji was extremely homophobic. Oh, but Hassan apologized for that. I mean, don't get me wrong. Hassan shouldn't be liking, as like a non-member of the queer community, he shouldn't be liking tweets that have the F slur. But Hassan's response to that was like, I genuinely, and like, I'm not someone who avoids critiquing Hassan. I genuinely think that Hassan, when he saw that, he didn't put two and two together. And then afterwards, when he like recognized it and people told him, he was like, oh shit. And then he unliked the tweet and then apologized, right?
I think that...
Would you feel like you've done enough?
Have I done enough? So do you think, like, what okay, then I would ask you, what's the standard for when I can check out then? Is there like a amount of years, amount of months, right? Because I've hosted Hippy Dippy for almost 2 years now, right? I have recruitment shows been going on for 8-10 months, something like that.
Wait, sorry, you're taking that very personally. I'm not questioning whether you've done enough or not. I'm just asking you whether you feel now you've done enough for you to walk away and kind of, you know, wash your hands of it and be like, that's it. That's all I'm asking. If you think that's the case, then that's fine. Like, I'll take that answer.
I mean, yeah, I feel like that I could walk away. I mean, I feel like I would be fine with anybody walking away from the space. I don't feel like anybody has to like do the like whole like, let me put in these amount of hours into the space that I've benefited from I wouldn't.
No, you don't, but you are going to get criticisms in a variety of forms, especially if there's like, I think if you are about to leave and or say the space is like toxic now, you should also acknowledge if you had contributed to that toxicity, right? Whether it be like people who got legitimately hurt throughout the course of being on the hippy dippy or other things, or instigating yourself in drama, or what happened with the Prime K's panel as well, and the accusations, the false accusations towards Prime K's. I mean, those are significant moments that happened in the course of Dylan's career. That, you know, I think if you were saying I want to kind of like do a clean wash of all this, then acknowledging that is not an unfair request, as you then pivot into more serious stuff, which, by the way, I have absolutely no problem with. If Dylan wants to start doing serious coverage of world issues, and he's going to continue to like do things where he does legitimate reporting on the ground in war zones, like that is a good thing. You know, it is a good thing, and ultimately it's one of those things where I would be like, you know, mashallah, you know, go for it.
Force anybody to do that commitment. I do the commitment, I guess, a little bit because I want to. I enjoy it. I enjoy roundtables. I enjoy the recruitment show, and I enjoy working with like newer creators in the space. I think it's fun. I like meeting new personalities. I and that's the main reason probably that's the main thing holding me back from probably leaving, is I like a lot of people in the space, like you, Chud, like Rhizome. And
do you think there's any more mutual benefit in you doing hippy dippy?
Oh, the main benefit I could get from hippy dippy at this point is just, I would say, YouTube ad revenue. And it's like my biggest show of the week. But it's also like I would say it's stagnated mostly. So I mean, either like I transform it, or like do I just like keep it as it is, you know? Like I would like to grow, so I'm trying to like figure out what do I do with it moving forward. But like I don't want to get rid of it. Like I've been like doing it for so long.
Thanks for giving a tier 1 sub to the Kevin FM.
So also, to be clear for the audience, what is at stake in this evaluation that you're doing?
What is at stake in the evaluation that I'm doing?
Yeah. What is what might we potentially lose from the Dylan Burns brand?
What would okay, you're giving Chud ego ammunition if I start saying like, what do I give the space? You know what I mean?
No. What I mean, no. What I mean by that is, what is going to change about your content?
What is going to change about my content?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like, what's at stake in the content you're putting out right now?
I mean, I guess
what will change? Yeah.
I think I don't. That's the main thing. I don't even necessarily want to leave the space. I think we concluded yesterday's conversation with me saying I want to have more clear barriers with the content I do, and I want to be more filtered with the type of like drama and stuff I engage with, right? Because I just don't want anybody to look at my channel and see like a thumbnail and a title that is like Dylan debates raping like babies or like pedophilia or anything like that. You know what I mean? Right? Because it's just like, it's like a PR disaster that's unnecessary, and I don't really think it helps the space because it gives the space a terrible image problem. And I think then people, you know, don't want to come in and like engage with it. And you'll see like a ton of people engage in this behavior too, because when you do those topics, you'll see like a very short spike in viewership, but then it doesn't like sustain long-term growth.
Yeah, I was like, you can't absolve yourself of that. You've hosted so many hippy dippies where people could accuse you of the exact same thing. Like that's, I don't think you get to wash your hands of this whole affair and then walk away and then afterwards be like, well, you know, that's at the end of the day, that's what other people were doing on Twitch politics.
When you do these wild ass topics, you just go to the like radical,
like just ignore it. We've all, including myself, we've all fucking done either things we regret. Regret. Yeah, I regret how I pronounce regret. We've all done things. We've all been in the muck. You know, we've all been in the poo where we've engaged in topics that otherwise I'm like, why the fuck did I talk about that for like 30 minutes with that person? You know, I wish I hadn't have done that. It's it's not something that, you know, none of us are clean. Is probably the best way to say it. And I regret everything.
Extremes, and then because you just want to like get as much attention from like having two homeless people fight in a parking lot, but that's not a sustainable business model. And I think that was like more what I walked away from like the stream, like considering like I just don't want to engage with that type of content. It's the same reason I've never gone on Politically Provoked, for example.
You've never been on Politically Provoked?
I think I went on once, and then I didn't go on again because I thought it was terrible. I thought it's a terrible image,
Yeah.
And Politically Provoked has only gotten like worse when it comes to like the associations. I also don't want to debate like an anime avatar on like Little Timmy. I don't want to. I don't think it's don't think it's engaging content.
Thoughts on this, Dylan?
Yep.
The issue here is Chud and others feel Dylan considers the space stale and shitty while not acknowledging he made the situation and space that way himself.
Yeah, and if that's the case, then shouldn't I have to change the content that I do in order if I wanted to change the space? And this is something we discussed, me and you, Rhizome. Like, well, what if I wanted to help change the space in a certain direction that was more beneficial? And well, I forget what you said about that, Rhizome. Could you refresh my memory?
To be honest, when was this last night?
This was last
about your
night.
content. It was just basically, I think you need to curate your content a bit more, and just make sure that you're putting the best image out there of what you do and why you do it, as opposed
Okay,
to
so
less.
so personal.
I would say that, yeah, there's some argument.
That you notice it. Like, I think that you recognizing you want to have a real life kind of politics thing going on, I think that's great. And I think, you know, by all means, obviously do that. It just feels a bit odd for you to kind of shit so heavily on the drama side of things and on some of the stuff that happens in Twitch politics when, you know, you've benefited, I'd say, pretty greatly from it over the past couple of years.
Benefited. Can you acknowledge that you've benefited from something or you've engaged with something and still be like, I don't think this is good for the space. I don't think this is good for growth. I don't think this.
Yeah, they're going in circles. I'm just gonna see if there's anything.
I just feel
What would
like,
be what would be your way of putting it?
I just think that there are other ways. To me, you came across real, you know, at certain points, extremely egotistical, like you were above it all, despite having benefited from it for a long
Okay.
time. And yeah, sure. I just think that you could have worded things or put things in a better way that didn't come across like that. But, yeah.
So I could have. So basically, it's not really the content of the majority of what I said. It's just the way I said it.
Well, I feel like the positions you're giving me now are
Stardust and Wicked Supreme and Loner Box come on later. Yeah, I'm not gonna sit through the full Royal Rumble. Like this whole thing is really long, right? I don't know how long they talked for, but this clip is like almost 5 hours long. I was more curious getting to the origins of it. And again, like I said, I'm here for Dylan effectively wanting to maybe move into a different arena. I am totally fine with that. And at the same time, like I don't see, to be honest, at this during the course of this entire thing, where Chud's really coming from the like, you know, I don't know. I don't think it's whiny. I think it's a fair call out to be like, you shouldn't shit on the very scene that you were a key player in and also did bad things in, you know, the very bad things that you may be calling out right now. So it, you know, Dylan probably should have just gone forward with this and said like, hey, I'm going to be changing I'm just going to be talking politics, straight politics. That's it. Going to be interviewing politicians, going to be interviewing people on the ground. That's my new channel. And that's what I'm going to be doing because this is what I'm passionate about. Done. You know, rather than being like, in addition to it is because the Twitch political scene has become stale. There's not as much drama. There's too many, like, you know, far right nationalists all over the place, and we're collaborating with Politically Provoked and all this kind of stuff, right? Like, just leave it at that.
different to what you said at the time.
Like what specifically?
Well, I think that the way that you put across your, you know, obviously I've only watched the video once. I'd have to go back to give you more specific quotes and stuff like that. But yeah, I feel like the way you're presenting it to me now is just you're acting as if all you were doing when I watched it was you were just going, oh, well, you know, all I'm saying is it's not really for me anymore and I just want to move on and I want to do something bigger and better, whatever, that's fine. That's obviously a perfectly legitimate, fine position. But when you were talking about it at the time, the way you were talking about it, you just came across as a lot more egotistical, and that you were, you know, taking a big old shit on the people that were in the space that were smaller. And
Okay, you know? So can we? So if I'm saying I want to do something different, I'm usually gonna like say why I want to do something different, right? Like I want to like describe it, and if like I'll just describe it simply, and if somebody has questions, then I'm gonna like clarify those questions. If nobody at the time asked me any of the questions you're asking me now, then I'm not gonna like respond to those questions, right? Nicholas DiOrio didn't come in and like question me to those extents, right? Now you're questioning me.
No, because
so
you were being a little bit weaselly, weren't you? Because you said you only dipped your toe into the Anna drama.
That isn't being weaselly. It's because the different. The problem. Okay, so what would be?
You made yourself part of it.
Yeah, I dipped. Yeah, that's how I dipped my toe in. I openly admitted that I engaged in drama. That was an example I brought up to say I brought it up. Nobody else brought it up. I did. If I was being Weasley, I wouldn't have brought it up in the first place.
Yeah. Stardust wants to get added to the call, by the way.
Chud, quick question.
Yeah, sure.
Is this Giga Chad or soy right now from you?
I don't know. I don't really care. I'm, trying to have a conversation with Dylan about.
That's how we should
conversation
classify
and-
all conversations.
And
Just
it just-
check in
and it
midway and,
just-
ask if they're
and
sore
it
chatting.
just feels like what he's saying now, and obviously I've only watched it once, and I need to go through again to get more of like a direct quotation or something like that. But certainly now I'm talking to you. What you're saying to me now seems a lot more agreeable than what you were saying at the time, because you seem to be taking on a much more harsh, aggressive, and critical tone of like Twitch politics as a whole. I mean, even the fact that we've gone from Twitch politics, like you weren't even including like Hassan and Mike from PA in your definition.
No,
of Twitch
because I
politics.
guess for me, like, I just don't see them as people who engage with the Twitch politics space. I was more talking about the space that we engage in Twitch politics, because it's my experience with Twitch politics that the vast majority of the people we talk to experience with Twitch politics. Neither of us, actually only one person in this call has ever talked to Hassan, right? And that was like once, right, Rhizome? It was you? You talked to him like the one time?
And it wasn't even the capacity of being a content creator. It was just because I was a 22-month.
Okay, yeah. This whole thing is just going in circles. Yeah, so my summary would be that I think it's reasonable to say that if Dylan wants to leave and pivot into a new career, awesome. Or pivot into doing politics, or just strictly politics, also great. Do your thing, follow your star, show your truth, whatever it is. And at the same time, go about it while acknowledging, if you're going to talk about how it's bad, that you contributed to that, or any of the people that you heard along the way, the various CPTP dramas, the Prime K's drama, all that kind of stuff. And at the same time, you can leave without also saying the parts that you were leaving for happen to do with the fact that the drama is stale, and you're worried about the current vibe of it and stuff. Now, do you want to watch the next people join on and the chat become bigger than a Prime Case panel? Not really, because I feel it's just going to be a whole bunch of people yelling or talking over each other about the same things, right? And yeah, the RGR stuff. Yeah, exactly. That's it. Super simple, easy, quick, fast, strange. Do you enjoy the Serfs but prefer not to have to use your eyeballs? Many are saying this. Well, we've got the solution for you. It's the Serf Times in podcast form, available on most major podcasting networks now. If you enjoy it, please consider leaving a good review and feedback, because it really helps the show out, apparently, and it's free, just like the podcast.
To our gods, Xander Corvus and Peyton L. Just, we are prepared to embark on a mighty jihad in your name. To our monarch, Tom Spiker, we are but your humble jester, attempting in vain to get you to laugh. To our valiant knights of the Round Table, Benji Arnie, Tech Tink, Scary Earthhuman, Tony, DM Rivera, Resident Scarecrow, Sir Nickus, Mayred, Cheryl Alvarez, Ruby Kelly, Brandon, Words Greenwood. It doesn't matter what I believe, it only matters what I can prove. Egbert Celine, Matthew Scarborough, Stellar Vision, Ariane McCarthy, Daniel Sutton, Coulter Smith, Jenna Tao, Quiet 185, Anna Loves Riley, Omni, Riley and Anna, Poodlehawk, The Tim Caucus, Multimondi, Trevbot, EXE, Brian Ephraim, Lemmy 101, Anthropophojack, Saren 42, Catherine, Ramona Costa, Incosin, Agent NDN, Violent Orchard, Political Puppy, La Media Panza, Zach Christensen, Todd Buckingham, and Todd Lajeunesse. We raise our mugs and salute our brave heroes off to another glorious conquest.